This is one half of my disaster Corvette that I'm starting to rebuild. What I'm going to be doing is completely debonding this coupe back end and separating it from this interior chassis known as the birdcage for people who are not familiar with it. And what I'm going to go over today is how to remove these interior pieces right here and here without damaging them. It's actually pretty simple. When I started the project, I wasn't too sure whether I could accomplish this or not. So what I'm talking about here is there are these pieces that cover the interior side of the birdcage frame. And in order to get to that frame to separate it, I have to pull these off. But I don't want to damage them. So what we're going to be doing is I'm getting rid of this weather stripping that whoever owned this before me psychotically covered in paint and primer. And then we're going to drill out these rivets. You got one here. And if you just follow it up, you can see there's more rivets here and here and here. And also on this weather stripping that goes around the side. All right, let's get started. Just taking this bad boy off. So I started cutting into this and I started noticing here that it was separating and it's starting to get a little too thin. And then I started following this up a little bit more and I noticed that there was a division right here that comes up to the edge. It looks like maybe this is cracked over time, or when they installed it they pressed a little too hard. And I also noticed right here where somebody had started scraping it quite a bit. And if I follow it up, there's a crack that goes all the way into the roof line. So I think I'm gonna have to be a little more careful. So I sanded it down because I wanted to see the layers. And you can see it's kind of like an Oreo. We got different layers in between the fiberglass here where it all sandwiches the metal. And then again over here, you can see that line in the center. So this material is pretty thin. And I kind of have to work around that line. So it's going to take me a little more care than I originally anticipated. Alright, I had a little more trouble with this piece than anticipated. It's like at some point in time, like I was saying, this had cracked. You can see it right there. And the integrity of this whole thing is kind of compromised. And I cut a little too hard into it, but the structure is still there, which is good because I can just add some filler and some glass and repair it. But you can see right there where it really had some issues. And if you look right there, it's that straight line. Somebody had cut into it at some point in time. 100% that wasn't me. Fun. Alright, so since I started on the top rail of the target here, I was kind of poking around, and I noticed that there was a big cut in the top of the metal. You can actually see it like right there, and that got me wondering about what else was wrong with this body. So I started digging, and I found that this whole clip here, this whole A pillar or B pillar, I guess, had been replaced. You can see where they had cut it here, and they have a line cut there, and then they did this really poor fiberglass job there, and there was just crazy amounts of Bondo all the way down. Let me show you this. I pulled this nugget out. Absolutely fantastic. It even has parts of the carpet stuck to it. Isn't that lovely? So that's done. This car might be lightweight again by the time I finish. I've started working all the way down, and you can just see the mess. I'm actually debating whether this is worth saving or not. It's getting a little thinner as it comes to the back here. Like, I haven't had much to scrape, and I've actually been able to sand, but as I got down closer, I noticed there's a screw here. This is the original paint. There's a line cut, and if I come up, there's another line here. So I don't know if this was all crinkled in or what they did, but when I look under the fender, there's a clear line that goes all the way across, and one that comes down where the original bonding strip is. So I'm just going to keep scraping since it's winter and I have nothing better to do with my life, and see how far I can get before I lose my mind. Alright, so here's kind of why I'm doing this. So this was not fiberglass repaired. This whole thing, it was just kind of stuck together with Bondo. So I gotta keep cutting in here and seeing where the break is, because I'm seeing here's some repairs right here. A lot of Bondo underneath of it, and I look here and I see the original paint, and I actually see where there were cracks before, so they pressed this together and then stuck some Bondo in the cracks to get it to stick. So I'm just going to keep going through. I'm going to find out how much of this was actually damaged. I mean, this is going to be my starting point now. It's exciting. Continuing on this project, I got down and I found several separations here, which is very interesting because this goes all the way up underneath this way, and the cut stops here for the strip that I pulled out, which was going all the way up here. Now this was the brake. So that looks like it was ripped off at some point. And I did a little damage over here, but carrying on, I found more Bondo strip to go along, and the bonding strip for the car is here. And so I started looking up underneath, and I found some more Bondo that's been pressed down in here. And then the same thing on the other side. I don't know how much more work is necessary on this, and I think what I'm going to do is just spend the extra money and purchase the whole back half of the body. Yeah. After careful consideration of about 20 minutes and a couple whiskeys, I decided I'm going to continue on cutting the car up. I'm kind of curious to see what they've done, and from seeing a lot of the body panels I can buy online, it seems like I might be able to replace just the top half and save the fenders. So now I'm going to grind this up and hope I don't get mesothelioma in about 10 years. Finished taking the majority of the paint off of the side here. What I was looking for is to see if any other repairs have been made on the car, since I found so much Bondo. And my plan was just to replace the top panel of the car, which is where the roof and where the trunk would be, or the gas tank, and put that back down to the fenders. Well, one of the issues I'm running into now that I cleaned all this off is, one, this bonding strip is where the top panel meets. So looking at it, it looks like this has already been repaired, because you see these rivets here, rivet all the way down. They might be stainless steel, I'm not sure, but the problem with those is if they trap any moisture and they rust, then they'll cause a pitting and separation and more issues down the road. But the closer I look at it, I'm seeing these little granular areas where the bonding strip is, and what that tells me is that they put this back together with fiberglass, which is not what you're supposed to do. So I think they zip this together and then they fiberglassed over it. So now I cannot use that unless I tear the whole damn thing up, which means I would have to replace it anyways. And then I go farther into the car, and I see that they did a massive repair all the way up the roof. If you spray it down, you can really see how bad it is. So this This is all the fiberglass from the original fiberglass, and this is new, and it's just got all kinds of pits just lining it. It's just not quality. And I think here where this fiberglass is, I think that's the bonding strip, which you should be able to separate by heat, but now I'm questioning whether I can separate it from this metal frame with any ease at all. So, going back to my normal plan of replacing the whole top of the car. Sucks that I spent money on this, but all I really wanted was the coupe portion anyways, and I kind of had a thought that I would have to be trashing the body. What sucks is this panel here, the door stop panel. I can't use this portion because they completely fucked up the inside here. I'm gonna try to salvage it, but I don't think I can. And then hopefully it separates from this part down here, which mounts to the axle chassis there. So good luck to me whenever I get to that stage in this build, but for now I'm not really going to worry about it, and I'm just going to continue separating it from the car and see what I can do with what I got. Alright, so I'm going to sand all the way down through here. I'm actually going to sand where the other bonding strip is here, along the back edge. And that way I expose it like I did here, because I want to see where all the other rivets that might be hiding from the previous owners. I don't think I'm going to sand any more up here. I'm just going to start heating it up and separating it once I'm ready. So almost finished with this. Well, almost finished with one side. So I thought I'd point out what's kind of hard to read in the AIM, which is the assembly manual. So this is the body shell as it comes down to meet the door sill here. If you follow up, here's the bonding strip. It goes all the way down the side of the car. And that's what the actual body is glued to. So what I've been having to do is slowly go down and release it from the bonding strip. Now I don't know if I'll be able to save this bonding strip or not, time will tell, but it's a lot of work. And soon I'll have this whole side off, all the way down to the edge here, straight down, and then I'll work on the other side. Just chip away. reason I'm doing this right here, as you can see, there's somebody fiberglassed on top of Bondo. So this body filler, Bondo underneath of it. Or that fiberglass is Bondo underneath of it, I should say. So I'll have to continue to chip away until I can figure out how they put this on here so I don't damage the underside of the body. Alright, here's why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is roll bar across the roof. This is what was left of the body. That is about probably about 1/3 of an inch of Bondo. So they just rebuilt the whole top of the car with Bondo. And you can see here, all the way straight down, it's one big line. So I figured out that they have taken this entire top and then placed it on top of what was left of the old body. So I don't know why they did what they did, but I'm gonna have to probably replace the whole body. One of the big things that I'm doing right now is just taking everything off because I wanted to undo what the previous owners had done in reverse, because I have to save a couple pieces in here, like the channel for the ducts and stuff like that, and I didn't want to break anything. Sweet. So after all this work, I have decided that I'm just going to
cut the back end off because it is joined here all the way down, and that's for the rear tub of a car. And honestly, I don't really feel like laying on my back and hurting myself for something that's just gonna really go in the trash anyways. So there's no pieces in between here that will cause any problems or that I would break or not have to reuse. So I'm just going to trim it up. Made a little more progress tonight. I was able to get the entire top off. I've been able to save the bonding strips here, so when I can have the time or money or whatever to replace the fenders, I can utilize those, or just buy new ones. Who knows, depends on my mood. Getting a better look at the top bar here. It's actually in really good shape. I'll just have to separate that and put it on the good birdcage that I have. The previous owners, the ones who did all this wonderful bodywork, instead of bonding the top portion like they were supposed to, they put this beautiful piece of fiberglass in. And then I look over, I start noticing some things. I notice that this has been cracked. This has been cracked. This has got a hole right there. And I do a little more investigating, and you can see the fender well on the other side has a good crack in it as well. So all of this would need to be completely scraped out and refiberglassed to be rebuilt. I'm not looking forward to that, but I guess it gives me time to be intimate with the car. The next steps, I'm going to be debating whether I should keep the back half and the fenders. Seems to be in an okay shape except for that strange piece of sheet metal that they put in there. I'm pretty sure that this is not stock. So I'm going to take a little closer look at it some other time, dive a little more in and start dissecting the fenders here, because when I buy the replacement, I'm either going to replace the entire top and bring it back down here to the bonding strip, because this is the original line, or I will replace the entire piece, and I'm not sure what I want to do yet. If it's a little farther down the road, I think I have plenty of time to make a decision.